What's up, baby?
There we go.
See you again.
Justin, always a pleasure, mate. James, you chuck those out into the crowd.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
you
mate,
keep
give them to
them,
the
mate.
people. They're not for your kids.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Well done.
Still got it.
Still got it. Out the back. Fellas, how we doing? How are we finding Magic Round?
Yeah, good, boys. Thanks for having us, obviously. Magic Round, a couple of days in now. Going okay. Went to the footy last night. Got absolutely pizzled. Being an ex-Manly player, but having a good time, mate. It's so good. Magic Round, this is 4th year in a row of being here, so just love it, mate.
Well, we're saying you're actually making us feel very inadequate getting out and doing run clubs while you're up here. I think you're the only person running.
Oh, well, I didn't want to mention that, mate, in front of everyone. But, yeah, we had a bit of a run club on yesterday morning. It was good. We put the call out, had about 25 people turn up. Beautiful run here in Brisbane. I don't know if everyone's around here from Brizzy, but, yeah, we just ran across the water, out and back, and I think maybe Eddy, he got me going a couple of weeks ago running a half mara. Yeah. Really motivated me to get out there and start getting after it.
Mate, I'm just pumped to know that I'm motivating the next generation. You know? Keeping you on your toes, mate.
And how about yourself, Jimmy? How was your first night one?
Mate, love Magic Round. Really do. As a player, bit of extra travel, but you got to play in front of a big crowd, which is always nice. But really, like, Magic Round is for the fans. Like, how good is it? You get 8 games all over the in the same ground on the same weekend. Like, this is what it's about. It's about it's all for the fans. And as a fan now, I used to be a fan, then I was a pro. Now I'm a fan again. You've just got to love it. Like, absolutely love what it's all about. And the venue of Brisbane just fits perfectly. We were saying before about just the proximity of Caxton Street. All the booze is there, and everyone has a good time.
It's a madhouse down there, isn't it?
Chaos. It's absolute chaos. Let's just call
you know
it what
what?
it is.
Organised chaos.
Yeah.
But that's what we were like. We love a bit of chaos. If everyone was sensible and boring and polite and responsible, it wouldn't have the same energy.
It'd be AFL, mate. You know what I mean?
Like, you want that little bit of unpredictability, like something could go off here. That's why we love it.
Yeah.
And everyone's getting on, everyone's hugging and kissing. It's good. It's a good vibe.
Yeah, it
Love
is.
it.
Because, I mean, I feel like when you come to Queensland, specifically Caxton Street, outside of Magic Round times, it feels very much like you're a New South Welshman and you're a bit nervous in Queensland. But with Magic Round, it's a communal vibe. It's
There's
good.
love in the air.
Love in the air. And there's a couple of New South Wales fans.
Look, great New South Wales support up here this weekend. Tom. Really good stuff. Obviously, got the win the other night, Thursday night. Just set the tone for the weekend. Obviously, Scope is a Queenslander, but he lived in New South Wales his whole life. He's a bit of a turncoat. That is what it is. Did you watch the games last night, boys? What do you think of the Raiders and the Dogs?
Oh, the Dogs blew it. They blew it, man.
Does that hurt deep inside, mate?
Just look, I love what the Dogs have brought this year. The most impressive performances for the Dogs for me is 2 defeats against the Melbourne Storm and against Penrith Panthers. And with all due respect, we played Canberra last night. At one point, they had 11 men on the field, and we just couldn't capitalise enough. We gifted them their first 2 tries, and I just think it's a game that got away from us. And you know, for all the positivity around the Dogs, we just got to get results. And that last night was there for the taking. And
What do you think it was what was the I guess the issue there, the reason they didn't get over the line?
Do you know what? As strange as this may sound, playing against 11, you can get drawn into this false sense that you've just got to move the ball sideways and you'll get room on the edge. But for a defence, they just move across. And I thought the Dogs, they started to play a bit sideways, and then they couldn't course correct and come back to just playing straight and dropping players underneath. And yeah, like I say, a couple of the first 2 tries for Canberra really were gifts. They were like wrapped in this. Here you go, Canberra. Ricky, cheers. So they were off to 12-0 to begin the game. So it was uphill from there, and then just playing a bit sideways. But I know everybody will be hurting there in the playing group because it's one that got away.
Is there an element of positivity generally though with the Bulldogs, that the fact that like you I guess this year you can expect them to win games like that. You can actually be disappointed that they didn't perform like you would think.
Yeah, most definitely. I think in years gone by, Bulldogs fans and people in and around the club, it's just, nah. But now there is that level of expectation. There's a little bit of class especially within the back line. But, yeah, it hurts losing that. Like I say, especially after that level of performance, and we speak about the difference between teams' best and their worst, and there's a big gap between that in a lot of those teams, especially down the bottom end of the table. But with the Bulldogs, the best and their worst, it's quite close together. Yeah. But that was one of their worst last night. It was devastating.
Do you think you can make the 8?
I think they can. I think they can. But they at the end of the day, if you're going to make the 8, you need wins, and you've got to get wins like last night.
What have you made of Cherry's return, Scope?
Bronson Xerri?
Yeah,
really good. He's been not only him returning in his form, but it's also allowed Stephen Crichton to go over to the right edge as well, which at the start of the year they were so left side dominant because they had Kicks, Matty Burton, Stephen Crichton, Josh Adokar. They're all representative players, right? So when they sent Stephen Crichton over to the right to allow Xerri to play jammer, it gave him some seniority over there. It gave him some experience, and we've seen the best of Karaz, I think, since Crichton's been over there. So not only has Xerri been good himself, but it's allowed the Bulldogs to be a lot more balanced, in my opinion.
Do you like his new nose, Cherry?
Xerri got a new nose. What's this, Sean?
He got a nose job.
Oh, did he get a touch-up, did he?
Yeah, he did. He got a touch-up. Yeah.
I haven't known.
I think it's fantastic. I just thought you might have...
It's a bit early.
I wasn't aware of the touch-up.
Oh, there. There's been a touch-up.
It's way too early to get a nose job.
Yeah.
You've got to wait till you finish.
Yeah, Cooper Cronk style.
It's too risky.
Did you get one in your career?
You probably have to go again.
You've got a lovely nose, have you?
You know what? I broke my nose on the second to last game of my career for the very first time. I was devastated. Devastated. So the doctor was explaining to me, I didn't need this explanation, but he's going, your nose is like a tent, James, and it's caved in there. I was like, well, that's brilliant. He's like, why would it happen? On your second to last game.
Yeah.
I'd avoided broken noses all this time, playing in the middle. And you know what? It was a teammate that did it to me as well.
Call him out.
Name and shame.
Who is it?
Alex Walmsley.
Alex Walmsley.
Jesus.
That's
not good enough.
Listen, you can barely notice. Nah, you look good, mate.
He's a big, scary man, Alex Walmsley. He's a big front rower that plays for England, St. Helens. Yeah, good player.
Big fella.
Tell you boys were just like, don't know who that is.
I have
absolutely no idea.
I could have said absolutely.
The household name.
Yeah, you could have.
And then what about the Raiders? What did they do well? What were you impressed by last night?
Oh, they're just scrappers. They know who they are, the Raiders. They know their identity. Their coach just re-signed, Ricky Stewart. They resemble what he's all about. When I watch Canberra, they just scrap. They scrap for everything. They stay in the fight most of the time. And in that performance yesterday, despite being down to 11, they were there for one another. And I think in Hudson Young, Elliot Whitehead, they've got two really classy edge back rowers. And yeah, they just fight over a bone. They give you nothing really. There's a couple of games where they've been poor, but most of the time they play like they do last night, and they're just a bunch of scrappers that'll never give up.
Probably scared of Ricky though, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, you would be scared. You wouldn't.
Winner will flog you.
You wouldn't want to let him down, would you? Imagine turning in a
He's
poor
terrifying.
performance.
He's absolutely
Ricky's
terrifying.
A scary man. He looks like he's a boiling kettle in every
and
post-game press conference.
You know when he comes down out of the box and he's on the sideline, he means business as well. He's just screaming at the boys. If they let that lead slip last night,
and it can be in the most torrential rain, and Ricky's just standing there, no raincoat either. He's just like, nah, I want to get soaked.
I'm going to get soaked with the boys.
Absolutely soaking.
Yeah, loves it.
Manly Broncos. Manly,
4
obviously,
point lads.
Unlucky there.
It's tough, mate.
It was kind of a game where his injury affected on both sides pre-game. What did you make of the Broncos in that one? It almost felt like they looked like they were going to smash Manly from the start, and then it sort of they just stopped scoring points. Does it end up sort of would they come away from that being happy about that win, or would it?
I think the scariest thing with the Broncos is we haven't really seen them full strength this year as well. They've had so many injuries to key players. Obviously missing Walshy last minute. I think Josiah Kerapani, I think, is the young guy.
Yep.
He didn't expect to play until Thursday, but they're building something special at the Broncos. They've got a next-up mentality that a lot of teams would love to have, and everyone preaches it, but you don't necessarily have the cattle for it. But in saying that, they started so well. They jumped out of the blocks. It was there to be had. Manly just really dug in after that poor start.
That's not water.
Got back to... they got back to obviously getting it even. I don't know. I guess we'll discuss maybe some of the penalties or some of the soft penalties that we're seeing these days. And I didn't think there was much in that last bit of contact in around Jackson Bolo, and I think it was maybe Tony Staggs or Dean Mariner, one of the two. That set they go on. Jack Madden kicks the field goal. And that was all she wrote, boys. And I was, watching you boys on the stream last night. So
it was a humbling evening.
Yeah, it's not a fun way to lose, is it? As a fan,
not when you're getting barked at by like 100 Queenslanders just giving it to you.
Yeah.
But, mate, I was proud of the boys, though, because the last couple of years we've been absolutely spanked. And after we went down 12-0 last night, I thought there was another spanking on the...
Real PTSD vibes when you go down 12-0 in the first 5 minutes.
But your mate, Sherry Evans, he just kept it in us. How impressive has he been this year?
Mate, he's been good. Look, it is tough. I know they'll miss him Walshy, but when you start the season like they have, Tommy Travojevic being so dominant, he's such an important figure for the team. So once Tommy's not out there, then Daly has to take it upon himself to take over. And I thought he did that in moments. I thought Tommy Talau was really good as well for him. But they've got to figure out a new style of footy now. When you lose a player like Tommy, your entire style of the way you've prepared for the last 4 or 5 weeks is going to change. So they're going to have to make some tweaks, and it's all going to be around the skipper. It's all going to be around the 7. In a way, you can see some positives in that. Well, you look what's happening at Newcastle. No Kalen Ponga. Everyone's sort of picking up the slack for the Knights at the moment. They've gone 3 in a row. So Manly can look to that, and they can look to last night and go, we can find some positives here and try and make it work.
I don't reckon they're as reliant on Turbo as what they used to be.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like just watching them last night, I think they've sort of learned how to play a little bit better without him. Where a couple of years ago when he was missing, it was like they were just done.
Well, no, it was pack it up, let's not watch the games and stuff.
They were done without him. But we saw yesterday that they're learning to play without him. I think there's some better players in and around the team there. But just on that game, you're right. When they went 12-0 up, I think most people were like,
bloodbath.
Yeah. But they showed a lot of character to stay in the fight. And just on Brisbane, they're definitely in a window. You can see that. Obviously, they should have won that grand final last year. That's hurt them. But they're still in the window. Reece Walsh goes out, and they put Selwyn Cobbo at the back. Like, talk about a guy that makes playing football look easy.
He's a beast. Terrifying. So big and thick. So hard to stop.
Mate, it's the annoying thing, right? We both had to work hard to make it.
Every inch of what we had, we had to work hard.
Try really hard, dedicate ourselves. He just looks like...
The catch at the end. Do you see the bomb that Cherry put up with the last 10 minutes?
Yeah.
I swear Selwyn Cobbo didn't see that at all. I still believe that he did not see that ball. There was someone charging through. It's sort of just like he's one of those players, like instinctual players, even though he's obviously going towards the footy. He gets his positioning there somehow. I don't know how he did it.
And it's not fair. It's not fair. He doesn't have to try hard. He should have to try hard. He makes it look too easy. And you know what? He makes it look easy that fans think, everyone should be able to do it.
Then you're upset when someone can't do it. You're like,
Mate, it's madness. How'd young Cooler go, you reckon, at the back?
Good. I like Cooler. Look, this might be a touch controversial, but there might be some discussions in and around Tommy if he comes back. Just trying to get a full season together, and that might mean potentially moving positions. And I think we've got a good replacement there in Tolu Kola. He had about a 3 or 4 game span at the back end of last year that he looked pretty good. Nice little tip on, I think, for Vayanga's try. So he's definitely got the skill set, and I think the most important part for Manly is keeping Tommy on the field. So they've got to figure out a way to do that.
And
that
do
could
you think it's come to the point where it's moved
the
position?
conversation might need to be had, at least, like I said, not long term. Like he is a fullback, an out-and-out fullback, but he needs to be playing footy. And there's not as much of a load on a centre as there is a fullback. So maybe for a season or half a season to finish the season. But I don't know. It's hard when you've got players like that, the top of the echelon, the best of the best. It's a very tough conversation to have those conversations. So
where would Ezra Mann be? And we'll talk a bit more Origin in a little bit, but just like where would he be in the Origin pecking order? Like if Cam Munster went down, would he be next in? Is Tom Dearden?
Yeah, I got Tommy Dearden.
Tom Dearden.
I got Tommy Dearden. Yeah, just.
And why is that, you reckon? What's the...
Just what he did in Game 3 2 years ago. So he showed he's not afraid at the moment. The Cowboys have been awful, but he's been their best every week. Respectfully to Cowboys fans. They've been really underwhelming, the Cowboys, but if you watch the games, the two skippers, Reuben Cotter and Tommy Dearden, have definitely not been the reasons that they've been struggling. So, look, I think it would be really close, but judging, knowing what Queensland do, they reward people that have been there and done it before. And I think because was it the Cam Munster COVID game that he missed?
Yeah.
He had a bit of a cough and he missed that game. Tom Dearden comes in. Everyone thought New South Wales was going to get the job done. And unfortunately, it didn't play out that way, did it, boys?
Jeez, that was a tough night. That was a tough night.
What is it with Queensland all of a sudden having strength and depth and
just
decisions
I
on
know,
who to
everywhere,
pick?
all across the park.
It's sort of changed a little bit,
It's
hasn't it?
infuriating.
I reckon, looking at it, if Munster does go down, look, Ezra Mann produced on the big stage from an attacking point of view in that grand final last year. But then you think of like some of the qualities of Tommy Dearden, that chase back on Cobbo.
Yep.
Like that's a huge play. And when, as an observer of State of Origin, it comes down to the moment and who's going to come up on the big play. If you're picking the team, do you want this like Ezra Mann, like win a game with a moment in attack? Tommy Dearden, great with attack, but that defensive style, that grit play, that determination play, that probably, when you first asked, I thought Ezra, but then I thought back to that play from Tommy Dearden where he chased down Selwyn Cobbo.
Yeah.
Like, that gets him just over the line.
Well, look, I mean, we're on Origin now. We we may as well get into it, but in the way we're sort of going to start this conversation, obviously the halves combination for New South Wales, a little bit up in the air. What's your go-to Macca's combination first? So whether that's, nugs and some sweet mustard sauce, and the rest. What's your Macca's combination?
Look, I'm an OG Big Mac man myself. I'm Big Mac nuggets for the most part. But sometimes, if I've had a few beers, bit of magic at the magic round, and maybe I add in an extra burger there. Maybe a double cheese, something like that. If I'm feeling exotic, I'll chuck in a fillet of fish.
Ooh, that is exotic. Wow.
Yeah.
This combination sounds like you've got 4 players playing together.
I'm all about the McFlurry. In fact, if we could get a McFlurry now, I would love one.
Oh, you
Put the flake in there, mate.
Get the man a McFlurry.
Like, honestly, there isn't anything better. When Macca's do their advertising, just forget it. Like, I know they're a burger restaurant. Get the McFlurry. It's you know what? No joke. In England, they never used to have McFlurries. They only had them in Europe. I can remember going to Germany as a kid, going into a Macca's, and they had the McFlurry. That's when I fell in love. Because they didn't have them back home.
Get the man a McFlurry immediately.
And now, I cannot visit this establishment anywhere in the world without getting a McFlurry.
All right, we're gonna have to get that on
it
camera.
just has to be done.
Yep.
Can someone get Jam?
What a love story this
You've got
is.
all your different meals. You throw in an extra 6-pack of nuggets as well for your Big Mac meal. Maybe even 2 McFlurries. I don't think. You know what? Get the founder of McDonald's on the phone. Get Ronald on the line. We need to do different sizes of McFlurries.
Oh, wow. You want a bucket?
The one size fits all. I'm sorry. No. Look, one size drink. No. We get different sizes of the drinks. Ronald, if you're listening, get an XL version of the McFlurry.
There you go.
All right. Well said, mate. Well said.
Well said.
Very passionate. Very passionate. So who's your combination for New South Wales? Very hot topic at the moment. Nathan Cleary obviously gone down. Moses up in the air. Assuming he's fit, would you have Nico and Moses?
Yeah.
Where would you go?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nico and Moses, if they're fit. Moses might not get a game in, though.
Would you pick him anyway if he hadn't played a game, but he was fit?
Speaking to people that have played State of Origin, no. There's too much on the line. The intensity of the game. He's had a lot of time out due to this foot injury. Like if it was a shoulder, maybe because you can run when you've got shoulder issues. But if you've got a foot injury, he's doing absolutely zero running. In fact, I still think he's in his joggers now, so he's not getting the K's in his legs. And to throw him into an Origin game, like I say, after speaking to the people that play it, it's impossible. He needs to play a game, otherwise it's a big no. And then it would be Hines. Who partners Hines? I mean,
Luke Brooks.
Jesus,
imagine that. What a
Yeah. year for the big fella.
That'd
be huge. for
Leaves the
Brooksy to get to
Tigers and
Origin.
plays Origin. Simple as that.
the final member of the Big Four.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think Luke Brooks is realistic, Scope?
No. And that's not being disrespectful to Brooks.
Oh, yeah. What a legend.
I thought Luke Brooks was behind me then. I thought they'd prank me.
There you go. What do you got there? What McFlurry has just been delivered to you there?
Yeah, Oreo McFlurry, not bad.
Oh, there you go. Oh, that's living. Well done.
No, look, I think with Brooks in particular, like can we just chill with the Luke Brooks and let him play good footy? Like, he's gone through a tough time at West Tigers for a number of years, and I always said it was going to be the best thing for the West Tigers and Luke Brooks. You know, sometimes it just doesn't work out for a player and a team. He's started the year really good, gone through a bit of a low with what Manly are going through at the moment, but I think he's definitely got the capability of playing Origin. I thought that a couple of years ago. But now, first and foremost for him is just playing really good club footy, being happy, trying to get a result, get Manly into the 8 this year. And then if he's still continuing that form next year...
Play his first ever finals game. That'd be nice.
Well, that'd be nice.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, playing a bit of finals footy. I've not played Origin, but from, everyone that I've played with or spoke to, it's a different level. It's even more of a level than...
I was going to ask, would you, if you were to have played Origin, would you have been eligible for New South Wales but support Queensland?
Yeah, New South Wales. Yeah. No, so I didn't support Queensland until Daly. They're Manly. That's the only reason I changed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But to be honest, and I know everyone loves Origin, but even though the accent Kiwi, so
Yeah, true.
I don't really care who wins, to be honest.
It's weird, isn't it? One of the half options.
What about you, Gemma? Do you support anyone? Do you care who wins Origin?
I don't really care. I probably prefer New South Wales because that's where I live.
Yeah.
Lovely.
And I think it's important you support where you live.
It is important.
But it's interesting. One of the halves options, Luke Keary, Kez, he is a Queenslander.
I know.
He only qualifies to play for New South Wales.
I personally think that rules you out.
He's basically begged to play for Queensland, which just puts a line through it.
He's like,
you can't have
don't make me play for New South Wales.
Can you imagine just the headlines write themselves?
It'd be a disaster.
He'd just get hammered.
Yeah.
No, it can't happen.
Like, half of Origin, I reckon, is managing the media and the narrative in and around it because everybody seems to go, it means more to the Queenslanders. We'd never do that. We'd never have anybody retire. Like, we've had Alfie Langer come from England. Jack White doesn't want to come out of retirement. Like,
that wouldn't
all
happen
this
in
narrative
Queensland.
just keeps on going.
Yeah, it's tough.
How do you reckon Maguire's going to go? First year, a lot of pressure.
Do you want me to take it? Or are you getting McFlurry? Yeah. I'm intrigued. I'm definitely intrigued. He did such a good job with the Kiwis. I was, like I said, being a Kiwi, I was sad that we lost Madge, but to be honest, there weren't many strong candidates for the New South Wales job, despite how big it is. It just didn't really feel like anyone was jumping out to take the spot, and I think he was the next best candidate. So from what I've heard, he's got quite an intriguing sort of system about, the players that he is looking at using. So
what do you on that? What do you think he'll do at fullback? Like, I mean, there's a photo with Teddy doing promo stuff the other day.
Well, you think Teddy's
you'd assume
locked in.
he's there now. Do you think he's done enough though? Would you have picked him still, or is it just?
I changed my fullback 3 times. I was Turbo, and then once Turbo got injured on the Thursday night, I changed to Dylan Edwards, and then Nathan Cleary got injured last Friday night, and I changed back to Teddy. And that's just because I thought the combination that Dylan would have had with Nathan, I wanted Nathan to completely control the narrative of this Origin and take it over. And he's been so dominant, obviously, at grand finals and for Penrith and even Australia, but he hasn't really had his whole series moment like the Munsters have had, even Cherry's had it, the greats of Origin have had it. So I was hoping Nath was going to have his moment this year. That's probably the biggest disappointment of all with Nath is we're probably going to have to wait another year. He might have a really big moment, come back in a decider potentially, which would be huge, but I want to see him string together a full series of just dominance.
In the Brisbane game last night, there was a moment where Payne Haas went off, like he's limping off, and there was this conflict of like New South Wales Manly fans and also, and we're going, no, yes, I don't know how to feel. But like he came back on, played like, felt like he turned the tide again against Manly when he came back on. But if he's out, if he's got a toe injury, but it's like Payne Haas, Cleary, Turbo, maybe someone else I'm forgetting here, but like, what do we do there if Payne Haas is gone? Like, who comes in for him?
Well, it's good signs that he come back onto the field. So
yeah.
They'll manage it. I think he'll be okay. If he didn't come back onto the field, I'd obviously be super worried. But, there's been a lot of chat around the 6 and 7, obviously, now that Naif's gone. But before that, it was just the 6. Was it Teddy, Dylan Edwards? But finding the front rower, everyone's got Payne Haas in their team, but no one has necessarily been set on who's partnering. And then, again, on the bench, there have been some good performances from Stefano this year at the start of the year. Regan Campbell-Gillard's been there and done it before. Jacob Saifidi was good last year. So I think that second front row spot and then the bench spot is really up for grabs, Gemma.
Yeah, it's one of those, at the start of the season, like, who's the guarantees to play for New South Wales if everyone's fit? Cleary, Haas, Liam Martin,
Brian Toto,
Turbo,
he's in there. There's probably a couple more that are missing, but they were like nailed on. They're going to be playing. Isaiah Yeo will be in the 17 in some capacity. The rest is going to be picked probably on who starts the season off and really stakes a case for that jersey. But obviously, the selection now has been thrown into turmoil with no Cleary, potentially no Haas, no Turbo. You said before about how's Michael Maguire going to handle this. It could just advantage him because he's not going to have the same level of pressure. So if New South Wales are fully fit, they're probably slight favourites on paper. Slight. Just on paper, but it's not about what happens on paper. It's about what happens on grass.
Sadly.
But
we would have won 5 straight years.
We'd win every year if it was favourite mattered, mate. I like being underdogs for once. I think it's good.
Well, this is it, and this is why it might favour Maguire, because automatically there's not that same level of pressure.
Would you be picking heart and soul Jake Trbojevic, who just bleeds blue and loves his state?
Sorry, in terms of those nailed-on players, he's one. Because you learn lessons, and I think in previous series, he's played a game, missed a game. It's like, you sometimes on a stat sheet, you look and you're like, well, what's his contribution? But you just don't know what you're missing until he's gone. And I think New South Wales have learned that lesson before. You need him because he's got this, and there's no stat.
Good on us for that. New South Wales ticker.
Yeah.
Just ticker.
He's got heart.
Can't replace ticker.
Yeah. He's got heart, and there's no stat, there's no read, there's no measure. It's just an observation, and it's a feeling.
Has Cam McGuinness got a bit of that about him?
Yeah.
Tough as old
Well,
boots.
also McInnes, he's got one of the quickest play the balls in the competition.
Does he really?
He does.
And
I
as
think
tough as old boots.
if you're looking at how New South Wales are going to win, it's through the middle. Because Queensland are missing Flegler, they're missing Tommy Gilbert, and they're missing Tino. Yeah, they've got some great middles, but where are they most vulnerable? It's not in their spine. It's not on their edges. It's they are most vulnerable through the middle. So that's where they've got to go. And you get joy through the middle when you get quick play the balls. So Cam McInnes is your man.
There you go.
And he's got the face for it. He's got the head for it. He's got an
Missing
Origin
teeth.
head.
Yeah. The less teeth, the better in that sense. Right?
Hey, listen, if I had it my way, Tom, they'd be running out toothless, my players. No teeth.
Nah, teeth free. Look, it feels like Queensland's a little more settled, but they have lost some big fellas. Is there anything particularly interesting in that side that you see playing out any differently to the last couple of years? Or?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty straightforward. Might not be. Maybe Billy's got different plans.
The bush poet.
I think, the bush poet. I think there are maybe some decisions to be made, like we mentioned Tommy did and Ezra Mam, a succession plan. Maybe he pulls the trigger because could this be the end of the last series for Daly Cherry Evans and maybe Ben Hunt, with both being around 35, I think. So that they can't play forever. Rather than losing both of them in the same season, maybe they look to a Tommy Dearden or a Ezra Mam potentially as in that position. But apart from that, pretty much picks itself. Even with some of the injuries that they've got, it sort of helped them in a way as well, where a lot of the other guys that fill in just sort of stand out at the moment.
I think, when you're missing those middle players, like look who Queensland still have, and for me the person that sticks out is Lindsay Collins. Like, what a player
Missing
he
teeth
is.
as well, Lindsay Collins.
Yeah. Again,
Another toothless
maybe
operator.
there's something about that.
There is.
There is.
Like McInnes versus Collins.
Yeah.
Like,
Tooth off.
Yeah.
Winner gets a fresh set.
Like it.
It's a
What do you reckon?
great
You like that?
initiative. I like that.
Thinking, mate.
Think
Always
about
thinking.
how much more they're going to try.
Yeah.
They get a free fresh set of teeth.
Set of
Brilliant for them.
Teeth are expensive too, mate.
Yes, I know.
Very expensive.
And let's say we won't even have to fly them to Turkey. We'll do it here
No,
in
we'll do it here.
Australia.
Good,
So it's going to be more expensive, but there's things on the line. Get this fresh set of teeth. But in terms of Collins, he's going to have to step. He's the person that I'm looking at for Queensland in the middle that can go, yeah, I've got this. I've got this. Don't worry. Don't worry about no Tino, no Gilbert, no Flegler. I've got this, lads.
I've got no teeth, but I've got this. Yeah.
Yeah, no
I get
teeth,
it.
but I've got this. It's a trade-off.
Yeah.
And Origin, it's going to work.
So, look, we'll get to tonight's games in a moment. Just a couple of the news stories that have been doing the rounds in the greatest game of all. Your mate on NRL 360, which you're doing a fantastic job on, by the way. Loving you on there. But Braith was approached by Latrell at a cafe. Whatever happened has happened, but sometimes Latrell can have unfair media attention, right? Like certainly his experience where there's unwarranted sort of, I guess, attacks on him or, criticism, commentary. But this one feels like he's kind of brought it on himself a little bit. Do you think that's fair?
Well, your first mistake, don't go to fancy restaurants.
Yeah. And is this Braith's mistake? Is it Braith
So
to...
you've gone to a fancy restaurant.
Too flashy.
Too flashy. There's mistake number one. Keep it nice and simple. Look, for me, it's much to do about nothing, this. And it's a bit of a soap opera thing. Like, our product is the game. And I know there are issues in and around the game that we all care about. But for me, this isn't in the sports news. This is in, your celebrity gossip news.
Men's Women's Weekly.
We love it, though.
Yeah, I know we do, but,
Absolutely love it.
It is like something out of a soap opera.
That's exactly what
That's
it is.
exactly what Yeah.
Soap opera.
It's not a
We
sport.
live on that stuff.
And we gossip. Or who called who out? Who initiated it?
Yeah.
Who wins, though? Who would win, do you reckon?
You've been
Like,
training
let's say
with
they
Braith.
went out the back, shirts off,
Braith's looking pretty fit.
but
Oh, yeah,
Lachelle's
yeah.
huge.
Jammer gets to see him every Monday night now. I train with him on Wednesday mornings. He's got some dog about him. Dog. But I reckon Latrell. I'm taking Latrell.
For sure.
Maybe if it's a boxing match, Braith might stand a chance. But if you get a UFC, bit of wrestling involved, I don't think he's getting out of Latrell's grasp.
There you go. That sounds terrifying. Quickly, obviously, a lot's been said. Dave Fafita, what were your thoughts on backflipping? Have you ever been in a situation where you've been conflicted about contracts and that sort of like?
I had teams that were trying to backflip on my contracts after I'd agreed on it. Nah, it's a real specific one. I think the big dogs. Oh, someone just crashed out then.
Ooh.
Just ran up the gutter. Sorry. Yeah, it's. I can understand it. Just from the outside looking in at David Fafita, he seems like a. I don't know. He's a bollocking player, but he seems like a real gentle, sensitive soul. I don't know. I just never met him before. I get that feeling when I look at him, and maybe he got booed in Gold Coast after the decision. Probably sat back after he played the game. Got that cooling off period for a reason, and thought, I like it here better. And in the end, having to have that conversation with the Roosters and Uncle Nick. They very rarely miss out on their who they're going after. And recently, they have been missing out, which I'm not opposed to, seeing what they did to us in the 13th grand final. So I don't mind it when the Roosters miss out on their guys.
It's a funny one. Like, I'm not a fan of backflips. I reckon once you've committed, you should, once you've signed, there's a 10-day cooling off period for a reason, but generally speaking, not a fan of them. But this is a win for the small guy.
Yeah.
Like it's you look at where the Titans are at in like the pecking order of NRL teams. They've got their best player being pilfered by one of the top teams. He has backflipped. It's a win for the little guy.
Yeah.
Which, it's hard not to like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, as long as he's happy never to win a comp, I mean, that's fine. You know what I mean? That's fine.
Yeah, that's all right. And then what about Blaze Talangi being linked with the Dragons? Is that is he a player the Eels can afford to lose?
No, because he's a local junior, and people love local juniors and people that have come through their system. And look, he's only played a handful of games, but what a talent he's got. Also, what talent he has, rather, what talent Parramatta have got. When you've got someone that's playing really well already, with so much potential in front of them, and they come through your system, you can't lose those players. You just can't.
And as a Dragons fan, would you be? You're a former Dragons player.
Former Dragons, great.
If you're looking at it in terms of that, Lomax goes one way, Talangi comes the other.
Yeah.
And especially with the price tag, I think the Dragons win.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be funny though? So all the news has been around Zach's not happy playing on the wing. Whether that's true or not could just be reported. But what if Blaze Talangi next year he takes the fullback spot? They move Gutho into the centres with Will Penasini, and Zach still ends up playing wing.
Still playing wing. Is that a crazy behaviour? It seems like it's almost not true. That you would just hate to play wing so badly. Do you know what I mean? That you'd leave the club for it. Do you think there's a bit of mayo on that?
Was it just him just using any old excuse to get out of the club?
Could be. It could factor into a number of things. Yeah. Even though in my opinion he's been playing outstanding on the wing, it's more the perceived emotion sometimes of that position. Like moving from centre, which was, you think about some of the great centres that we've had over the years. Yeah, we've had some good wingers, but I think most people could rattle off more great centres from our past. So, he wants to be on the ball a little bit more, but it's actually got him involved in the game more. He's been able to row. So, yeah, I think it's potentially a factor, but with a few more bits that will probably never have which should stay between coach, player, club, or whatever it is.
I just think centres are the most egotistical players within rugby league.
Not a big centre guy, mate.
No, I only play left. I don't play right. Shut up. What difference does it make? Oh, I'm a right side specialist. Come on. You're joking, aren't you? And wingers used to get all the stick, but at least they have a dig nowadays. Centres don't get back till play 3. All they want to do is be involved in little touches of class, big flick passes. They don't have to want to get down and dirty. And no wonder Zach thinks he can do life easy in the centres, because the centres have the easiest job in the game. Why would you want to go and play
Go
on the
off,
wing?
Jimmy.
It's tough. You've got to get back, take take some strong carries now as a winger. You're not just about finishing. You've actually got to do some hard yards. In the centres, you don't. No wonder he doesn't want to play on the wing.
Put your hands together for that, eh?
Yeah.
Centres be damned.
Huge. You're right, though. There is a little bit of like Zoolander about it, isn't it? I can't turn left. It's like, come on, mate.
The divas of rugby league.
That's what they are.
In the NFL, it's the wide receivers. The centres Jimmy's just allocated them as the divas of
Divas.
the
are the
league.
Do you share Jimmy's sentiment, mate?
Probably not as strongly. And no, I understand what he's saying though. It's because I don't know. I think maybe 10 years ago, Gemma, like it was a premier position, and if you had a strike centre who could create something, I think it's sort of gone the other way. I think the importance of, because of what Gemma's saying about the yardage carries that the wingers have to do these days. If I'm, management of a team and I'm tossing up between looking at a price tag, whether I play 600-700 for a centre or potentially 400-500 for a winger, I'm probably going to go the winger and then try to find another way to fill the centres. That's just the nature of where I think the game's gone.
So, first game this evening, Titans v the Knights. A few injuries for the Titans. What do you make of that game? Like, what are the keys to victory for both teams? How are you seeing it, Jimmy?
Knights will get the win.
Yeah?
Yeah, they've been... They've changed since Ponga. Since Ponga's injury, they've changed their game plan and what they... how they play. They play that high percentage, low risk style of football. They almost grind teams out now. And I think with the Titans, with the players that they're missing, the Knights, I think they've won 3 in a row since KP has been ruled out with that injury. So, yeah, the Knights will continue on and they'll just play that. They just can't fall into that trap that the Titans can sometimes set of being like, oh, we'll score more than you and you score more than us kind of thing.
Yeah.
The Knights just play direct football. They'll get the win.
The Titans have got Foz out, AJ, I think, so tough night for them, Sco.
Yeah. Those two guys in particular, they've been great. Like we spoke about Dave, his last probably month has been so good with all this news. But the other two have been Kieran Foran and AJ Brimson has been outstanding. So he's going to be missed. He's probably another guy who would have been in contention for Queensland, I reckon, for a bench spot or put some pressure on the centres potentially. So they're going to be missed. And they were struggling in the halves even before that. Like they were playing Brimo out of position at 6 to account for the loss of Tanner Boyd. And they haven't really had a backup there. So Tom Weaver's on extended bench. I think we see Tom Weaver playing in this game for sure.
Okay. And then we got the Sharks and the Roosters. This is the Roosters seem to be, when they're on, they're actually...
Oh, they're humming.
They are a fantastic football team to watch. At the start of the year, I guess, it felt a bit off. They didn't feel like they were clicking. You sort of Manly beat them. How do you see this game going tonight?
I'm on the Sharkies. They've been super consistent this year. What they did last week, I know Melbourne missed some players, but to have Nico ruled out just before the game and still not even have Braden Trindle, they've got that culture we're talking about, the next man up mentality that they're building there at Cronulla. And they've got some unsung heroes down there that Tom Hazelton, he's becoming a bit of a cult figure down there.
He is, isn't he?
But realistically, where he's come from in the last 18 months, he's actually playing really good footy on top of just scoring tries for anyone who's backed him anytime. But Cam McInnes, Jesse Ramian's been outstanding for him. It'll be tough, but if Nico doesn't play, then Roosters all the way. But if Nico plays, then I'm on the Sharks.
Yeah, Roosters are favourites. But I think I'm with you on the Sharks. Talking about Hazelton, he gives me faith that time travel is actually possible because I reckon he's come from the 50s and he's here. So I believe time travel is possible due to Tom Hazelton playing in the NRL. He doesn't look like the modern-day footballer. So
he's a throwback.
He is a throwback.
Big time.
Did you see Connor Watson with his shirt off the other day on the Roosters Instagram? He'd be the hottest man in rugby league right now, wouldn't he?
He's up there.
He's right up there.
If he's not in the starting lineup, he's the 14 for sure.
Oh, you don't even think he's starting?
Probably. He's most likely.
Dude, I think he's...
Cam McInnes is probably starting at 9.
Well, that's true. Yeah, Cam, captain, coach.
Yeah, I reckon. But for the game, I don't know. There's something about Cronulla at the minute. They've got a bit of an attitude, and I think they're out to prove a point that they can mix it with the better teams of the comp. So that's why I think they'll get the victory.
What do you think that the Roosters have changed over the course of the season to see the improvements they've had?
Sam Walker. I feel like they've given Sam Walker the keys.
Is it the beard?
Dying
And the beard. The beard's
That's
grouse.
stuck on.
That's dyed, right?
It's stuck
yeah,
on.
It's stuck. It's
not
fake.
real.
That's
You
not
reckon he's
real.
glued it
I
on?
reckon it's some.
Yeah, that's
I don't know.
Wardrobe,
Because
hair and makeup.
He doesn't look like the person that can grow a beard.
He's a twink, yeah.
You know?
No, I know exactly what you mean. But he's playing better footy with his fake beard anyway. Like,
Yeah.
it's going real well.
Yeah.
Well, you can playing against people with beards. They look more mature. They look. There's something about a clean-shaven person that's not as intimidating. Maybe he's gone for that intimidation look. Shout out to the
intimidating,
Roosters for their, their cosmetic department to put that on. Like sometimes it's about finding an edge to get a victory, and if you have to get a glued-on beard to get it, then that is the literal definition of like no stone left unturned. We're going to do anything possible to get the win.
Yeah.
Stick a beard on. Well done, Roosters. Well done, Sam Walker. That try assist last week, the crossfield kick to
It's fake beard stuff.
That's fake beard rugby league. Yeah. That's what it is.
You should try rip it off next time you're saying.
After he sets it up, you often go,
Got
trick
ya.
is all.
got ya.
Their last game, Rabbitohs Cows. Rabbitohs obviously having a tough season. What are you making of the Cowboys?
Yeah, they're the same. I think they've lost 5 in a row.
Awful.
Can't put my finger on what's going on there. They're playing way below their potential. Souths are in free fall at the moment, well documented. Troubles going on there, plenty of injuries. I can't predict where this game's going to go because both teams are unpredictable, and also I think both teams will see this as an opportunity to win because both teams are both going so bad that they might play conservative and not go after the points. I really hope that doesn't happen. I hope they just go into it with the attitude of like, let's just put it all on the line. Let's throw the ball around. Let's entertain. Souths, they're not going to play finals, so they should be looking to entertain.
Yeah.
And then the Cowboys, they appear not to really care about defence at the moment. So hopefully they keep that attitude and don't change it just because Souths are down near the bottom.
I think one thing to watch out for with these two teams, when you lose, there's confidence is lost within a team. Watch out for the team that gets to the lead, start to get nervous. So that's what it may be a half-time, full-time. Look, whoever's travelling at half-time, watch for them to get nervous. I don't know who it's going to be.
I love it.
Yeah, potentially.
I like that.
Yeah, because what you do is when you've lost that many games in a row, you start thinking about all the ways you can lose a game rather than win it. So once you get to a lead, everything starts to get all nervous. So whether it's the Cowboys or the Rabbitohs that come home strong, I'm thinking there's going to be a comeback in this game.
All right.
You get on the bookie to the blower.
Yeah, exactly right. We'll go and have a look at that after this. So thanks again, fellas, just for doing this. Can you just put your hands together for Jimmy?
Yeah, the boys.
And to Macca's. Keep it going for Macca's.
Love your work.
Macca's, Macca's. I will be getting some nugs
Love your work.
after this. We've just got some quick fire questions for you, fellas. So
Giddy up.
giddy up. If there was a regional magic round, what town are you taking it to?
Dubbo.
Yeah, I like Dubbo. Dubbo for you, Ed. Got a good relationship with you. I haven't spent much time in regional areas, so Dubbo.
What are you? Wagga Wagga?
Wagga Wagga.
If you haven't seen the video of Jimmy,
Definitely Wagga Wagga.
one of the great pronunciations of Wagga I've ever seen. Surprise pack at the NRL season so far this year.
Tom Hazelton. Yeah, he's been great.
Yeah.
A player or team?
Whatever.
Someone shouted it out for me. Lomax.
Lomax.
Surprise package.
Yeah. On your Macca's burgers, are we pickle guys or no pickle guys?
Extra pickle.
Pickles for me. Yes, they're there for a reason.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I could
answer.
not agree more.
You got to show whoever presents your meal, you got to show them respect to eating it as per.
And listen, I respect everyone's right to choose, but if you're a pickle out person, you should be on a watch list. Like, you're a freak.
And if you don't like, just pick them off.
Yeah, don't make it a personality trait.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Don't
all
tell
good.
me when you
Don't
meet
tell
me.
them
you know what I mean?
to.
Don't,
Yeah.
you know, and maybe do it discreetly. You don't want to advertise the fact that you're non-pickles.
Yeah, don't do that. Just quietly remove them and give them to me. Toughest opponent you've ever faced?
Roger Tuivasa-Sheck.
Really?
Yes. Because he could embarrass you. I don't mind taking on big guys that want to run straight, and if they get it over you, well done. You're brilliant. But Roger Tuivasa-Sheck could make you look like you were tackling thin air. And that's embarrassing, and people don't like being embarrassed.
No.
His footwork is insane. So just when you think you're about to make a right shoulder tackle, you sort of close your eyes. You think you've got him. You open. Oh, he's over there.
And he's gone.
How did that happen? Only Roger can do that.
That's tough. What about you, Sco?
Big fella's up there, but his countryman, Sam Burgess, his first year, I made the mistake of shooting from C, thinking I was going to surprise him. He saw me at the last minute, and I'm the one with the surprise. And if the CTE rules or the HIA rules were back in those days, then I'm not finishing that game.
Beautiful. Fellas, once again, thank you very much. Put your hands together.
Thanks, boys.
Thank you to Milton Maccas for having us. It's been a lot of fun. Make sure you go in there and pound a couple of nugs before you get to the game tonight. Where are you? What's your plans for tonight? What are you guys doing?
I'm heading over to the stadium now. Panel for Fox and then commentary for Triple M. So a big day.
Big day.
Scope.
I'm kicking the feet
Shirt
up now,
off
so
by
I'm
the
going to rip
pool.
into some nuggets. I'm going to rip into a couple of Big Macs, I think. Chill out. Maybe
Might see you later.
Yeah, might see you later.
Yeah, maybe we'll catch up later on.
Couple of drinks by the pool, mate.
Yeah,
maybe
get our tan on.
Something cruisy, yeah.
That'd be nice.
Lovely.
Thanks again, guys. Really appreciate it. We'll be back here tomorrow, 11:30 with Cooper Johns. So we'll see you there.
Phew.
Stop laughing.
Thanks, brother.
Cheers, mate.